Story 8. Devil Deer by Rudolfo Anaya. Characters. Cruz is the central character of the story, a determined hunter who ventures into a forbidden area near Los Alamos to pursue a unique and elusive buck. He grapples with a mixture of fear, determination, and unease as he encounters the deformed deer and navigates the strange occurrences around him. Joe is Cruz's friend who initially planned to accompany him on the hunting trip but is unable to due to a leg injury. He provides advice and expresses concern for Cruz's safety, ultimately playing a supportive role in the story. A deformed buck, Cruz encounters during his hunt. While not a human character, the buck's presence and appearance play a significant role in the narrative, serving as a source of mystery and unease for Cruz. Summary. Rudolfo Anaya, 1937–2020, was a Mexican-American novelist, educator, and travel writer known for works like Bless Me, Ultima. He taught at the University of New Mexico and gained fame with his debut novel. Devil Deer is a story about Cruz, a hunter, who disregards advice and faces ridicule after killing a deformed deer near Los Alamos National Laboratory. The passage vividly describes the arrival of autumn in the Jemez Mountains. Frost glistens on the peaks at night, but the day's sun dispels the cold. Aspen leaves fall like golden coins, and deer move quietly through the meadows. In the Pueblo, red ristras hang against adobe walls, and corn fills kitchen corners after the valley's harvest. The air carries a pinyon smoke haze. Men prepare for deer season, sharing stories and making plans. Women tease them to bring back a prized buck. Cruz, eager for a successful hunt, is filled with anticipation, his wife sharing in his excitement for venison to sustain them through winter. As deer season approaches, excitement fills the Pueblo. Old men share tales of past hunts, some involving deer with special powers or unfortunate accidents. Young men impatiently await the season's start, eager to bag a buck. The deer population is dwindling, making it harder to find them. Cruz and his friend Joe plan to hunt at Black Ridge, known for its dense pine trees and proximity to the Los Alamos laboratory fence. Despite warnings from Joe after he breaks his leg, Cruz is determined to go alone, believing he'll find a big buck. He sets out to Black Ridge, anticipating a successful hunt. Cruz awakens from a dream clutching a stone bear fetish. In the dream, the bear, though deformed, warns him to leave. Cruz ponders its meaning. Outside, the forest is dark, emitting eerie sounds. He senses the mountain's impending death. The blue glow, a harbinger of demise, contrasts with the ancient tales of its birth. Cruz grapples with fear, an unfamiliar emotion. He prays for strength and sets off to hunt, mindful of his family's needs. As the sun rises, the frost vanishes, promising fair weather, though the absence of clouds suggests no imminent storms. Cruz senses movement in the pines and spots a buck, its antlers dark against the trees. It's trapped inside a fence, making a clear shot impossible. As Cruz cautiously approaches, the buck mimics his movements. The hunter grapples with excitement-induced hallucinations, aware of the danger. Suddenly, he discovers a crack in his stone bear fetish, a disconcerting omen. Frustrated, Cruz fires at the buck, startling a crow and disturbing the stillness. Regret washes over him as he realizes the buck remains unharmed, questioning his impulsive action. Cruz defies warning signs and enters a fenced area, determined to catch a rare Los Alamos buck. He reflects on the dwindling population of big bucks and resolves to bring this one back to his family. As he pursues the buck, Cruz questions the strange sounds and vibrations, suspecting the laboratory's experiments. Eventually, he gets a clear view of the buck's unique, deformed antlers. After a prayer, Cruz shoots, mortally wounding the animal. However, upon closer inspection, he discovers the deer is severely deformed, with torn hide, bleeding wounds, and blind eyes, evoking a sense of profound unease and sorrow. Cruz encounters a deformed buck in the woods, its appearance unsettling. He realizes the dangers of the fenced-off area near Los Alamos, where unknown experiments affect the wildlife. Despite his reluctance, Cruz knows he must bring the deer back to the pueblo. Dragging the buck down the ridge, he reflects on the warnings he ignored. As Cruz returns home, a sense of unease lingers. The villagers react with shock and concern at the sight of the deformed buck. Cruz's friend Joe offers support, but the incident leaves lingering questions about the impact of the forbidden area on Cruz's well-being. The community will perform cleansing ceremonies, but uncertainty remains about whether they can fully counteract the perceived evil Cruz encountered. His story becomes a legend, passed down through generations, while the mystery of the fenced-off area endures. A. Multiple choice questions. 1. The story, Devil Deer, is set in A. Valley. B. Mountainous area. C. Riverside area. D. Lakeside area season. 2. The story is set in season. A. Spring. B. Summer. C. Autumn. D. Winter. 3. The young men were worried because the population of the deer was A. Constant. B. Increasing. C. Decreasing. D. Reduced by 50%. 4. In his dream, Cruz compares the bear with a man suffering from A. Heart disease. B. Skin disease. C. Joint disease. D. Eye disease. 5. The story says that the hunting of the buck by Cruz is A. Not pardonable. B. Heroic and worth remembering. C. Worth getting some award. D. A most dangerous hunting game. Extra MCQs. 1. What is Rudolfo Anaya known for? A. Novelist. B. Educator. C. Travel writer. D. All of the above. 2. Where did Rudolfo Anaya teach? A. University of Mexico. B. University of New Mexico. C. Los Alamos National Laboratory. D. University of Albuquerque. 3. What is the title of Rudolfo Anaya's debut novel? A. Devil Deer. B. Bless Me, Ultima. C. Heart of Aztlan. D. The Legend of La Llorona. 4. What is Devil Deer about? A. A hunter named Cruz who faces ridicule after killing a deformed deer. B. A travelogue by Rudolfo Anaya. C. A story about autumn in the Jemez Mountains. D. A tale of old men sharing hunting stories. 5. What does the stone bear fetish represent in the story? A. A warning from the deer. B. Cruz's determination to hunt. C. A connection to Cruz's ancestors. D. A symbol of fear. 6. Why does Cruz enter the fenced area near Los Alamos? A. To find a rare Los Alamos buck. B. To escape from the cold. C. To avoid encountering the deer. D. To seek help from the laboratory. 7. What is Cruz's initial reaction after shooting at the buck? A. Celebration. B. Regret. C. Fear. D. Confusion. 8. Why does Cruz feel uneasy upon returning home with the buck? A. He is worried about the villagers' reaction. B. He is physically exhausted. C. He is haunted by the deer's appearance. D. He is afraid of getting caught. 9. What is the community's plan for the deformed buck? A. To perform cleansing ceremonies. B. To display it as a warning. C. To burn it. D. To conduct experiments on it. 10. What legend is likely to develop around Cruz? A. The man who killed the devil deer. B. The hunter with a stone bear fetish. C. The savior of the Jemez Mountains. D. The fearless adventurer in Los Alamos. 11. Why is the deer referred to as devil deer? A. Because it was deformed and appeared otherworldly. B. Because it had special powers. C. Because it was a rare species of deer. D. Because it was aggressive and dangerous. 12. How does Cruz feel about killing the buck in the end? A. He feels regretful and disturbed. B. He feels proud and accomplished. C. He feels relieved and satisfied. D. He feels indifferent and emotionless. 13. What is Cruz's main motivation for hunting the buck? A. To provide food for his family. B. To prove himself as a skilled hunter. C. To seek revenge on the deer. D. To fulfill a vision from his dream. 14. What does the deformed buck symbolize in the story? A. The impact of human intervention on nature. B. The unpredictability of hunting. C. The presence of supernatural forces in the forest. D. The dangers of entering restricted areas. 15. What role does Joe play in the story? A. He is Cruz's hunting partner. B. He is Cruz's brother. C. He is Cruz's neighbor. D. He is Cruz's spiritual guide. 16. How does Cruz's encounter with the buck affect him emotionally? A. He is filled with fear and unease. B. He is overcome with joy and excitement. C. He is indifferent and unemotional. D. He is angry and frustrated. 17. What does Cruz do after realizing the deer is deformed? A. He attempts to perform a ritual to honor the deer. B. He decides to leave the deer in the forest. C. He tries to drag the deer back to the pueblo. D. He shoots the deer again to end its suffering. 18. Why does Cruz feel a sense of unease upon returning to the pueblo? A. He is worried about the reaction of the villagers. B. He is physically exhausted from dragging the deer. C. He is haunted by the memory of the deformed buck. D. He is afraid of getting caught by authorities. 19. What is the significance of the stone bear fetish in the story? A. It serves as a talisman for Cruz's protection. B. It is a representation of Cruz's connection to nature. C. It symbolizes Cruz's determination to hunt. D. It is a warning from the supernatural forces in the forest. 20. How do the old men in the pueblo react to Cruz's encounter with the buck? A. They are shocked and concerned. B. They celebrate his hunting success. C. They dismiss it as a coincidence. D. They are indifferent and uninterested. 21. What does the fenced area near Los Alamos represent in the story? A. Forbidden and dangerous territory. B. A sanctuary for rare deer species. C. A hunting ground for skilled hunters. D. A place of supernatural occurrences. 22. Why does Cruz feel the need to bring the deformed buck back to the pueblo? A. To show it to the old men in the community. B. To perform a ritual to honor the deer. C. To use it as a warning to others. D. To seek advice on dealing with the supernatural forces. 23. What is the ultimate fate of the deformed buck? A. It is taken away by the villagers for disposal. B. It is displayed as a warning to others. C. It is burned in a cleansing ceremony. D. Its fate is not explicitly mentioned in the text. 24. How does the story suggest a connection between the laboratory and the deer? A. The laboratory's experiments have affected the wildlife in the area. B. The laboratory is responsible for the deformed buck. C. The laboratory is conducting experiments on the deer. D. The laboratory is actively hunting deer in the area. 25. How does the story explore themes of nature and human intervention? A. Through Cruz's encounter with the deformed buck and the fenced area near Los Alamos. B. Through the old men's hunting stories and traditions in the pueblo. C. Through Cruz's interactions with his wife and friend Joe. D. Through the changing seasons in the Jemez Mountains and the rituals of the pueblo. B. Short questions. 1. How did the native people spend their leisure time? The leisure activities of native people varied widely depending on their specific cultures, traditions, and geographical locations. Here are some common ways in which native people spent their leisure time. Ceremonial dances and rituals. Many native cultures practiced various forms of ceremonial dances and rituals. These events served spiritual, social, and cultural purposes, often celebrating important events or seasons. Storytelling and oral traditions. Storytelling played a crucial role in native cultures. Elders passed down legends, myths, and historical accounts orally, preserving their heritage and passing on important lessons. Arts and crafts. Native communities were known for their intricate and beautiful arts and crafts. This included pottery, weaving, beadwork, basketry, and carving. These activities were not only functional but also held cultural and artistic significance. Hunting and fishing. While hunting and fishing were essential for survival, they were also enjoyed as recreational activities. Some tribes organized communal hunts and fishing expeditions. Games and sports. Various tribes had their own traditional games and sports. These could include lacrosse, archery, foot races, and games played with sticks and balls. Music and drumming. Music was an integral part of many native cultures. Drums, flutes, rattles, and other instruments were used in ceremonies, celebrations, and social gatherings. Gardening and agriculture. Some tribes engaged in gardening and agriculture during their leisure time. This could involve tending to personal gardens or communal agricultural plots. Gathering and foraging. In regions with abundant natural resources, native people often spent leisure time gathering wild plants, fruits, and nuts. This activity was often done in groups, providing an opportunity for social interaction. Spiritual practices. Engaging in spiritual practices, such as meditation, prayer, and vision quests, was a significant part of leisure time for many native cultures. Social gatherings and festivals. Native communities often held social gatherings, festivals, and feasts to celebrate important events like harvests, seasonal changes, or tribal achievements. Native people's leisure activities were deeply intertwined with their cultural and spiritual beliefs, emphasizing a strong connection to the natural world and their community. These activities provided not only enjoyment but also opportunities for social bonding, learning, and spiritual growth. 2. How did the women use playful language with their menfolk? Women in many cultures around the world have often used playful language as a means of fostering intimacy, expressing affection, and maintaining harmonious relationships with their male counterparts. This playful banter serves as a form of endearment and a way to navigate social interactions. Here are some common ways in which women use playful language with men. Women may engage in light-hearted teasing or joking with their male partners. This can range from playful mockery to affectionate banter, all meant in good spirits. Women often create or use pet names and nicknames to address their male partners. These names are usually affectionate and endearing, reinforcing a special bond between them. Playful flirting, along with giving compliments, is a way for women to express their admiration and attraction. This can be a fun and light-hearted way of showing affection. Women might employ sarcasm and irony in a playful manner to make light of situations or to add humor to conversations. It's a way of keeping interactions engaging and entertaining. Shared experiences and inside jokes can become a form of playful language between women and their male partners. These jokes serve as a reminder of their unique connection. Women often use affectionate language like terms of endearment, sweet words, or gentle tones to convey their love and care. Playfully pointing out each other's quirks or idiosyncrasies can be a way of celebrating individuality and creating a sense of intimacy. Women might challenge their male partners in a playful way, whether it's in a game, a debate, or a physical activity. This adds a fun dynamic to the relationship. Women may use humor to express gratitude or appreciation for their male partner's efforts or gestures. Playful language is a means of fostering a positive and enjoyable atmosphere in relationships. It allows women to express their affection, create memorable moments, and strengthen the bond with their male partners through lightheartedness and shared laughter. 3. What do you understand by dear season? Why do the local young men remember dear season? Deer season refers to a specific period of time during which hunting for deer is legally permitted. It is a regulated time frame established by wildlife authorities to control the deer population and manage hunting activities. This season is typically chosen to coincide with times when deer are most active, such as during their mating season or when they are migrating. Local young men remember deer season because it holds cultural, social, and practical significance in their community. Here are some reasons why deer season is memorable for them. Hunting, especially for deer, may hold deep cultural and historical significance in the local community. It could be a tradition passed down through generations, with specific rituals and practices associated with the hunt. Deer meat, also known as venison, is a valuable source of food, particularly in areas where it is part of the local diet. The successful hunting of deer during the season ensures a supply of fresh, natural meat for the community. Successfully hunting a deer requires skill, patience, and knowledge of the animal's behavior. Young men may take pride in demonstrating their hunting abilities and proving themselves as competent hunters. Deer season often provides an opportunity for young men to bond with their peers, family members, or mentors. They may plan hunting trips together, share stories, and create lasting memories in the process. For some, participating in deer season may mark a rite of passage into adulthood, or signify their integration into the hunting traditions of their community. Engaging in deer hunting allows young men to connect with nature, develop an understanding of wildlife, and gain a deeper appreciation for the natural environment in which they live. Deer season represents more than just a hunting opportunity, it encapsulates a complex web of cultural, social, and practical elements that shape the experiences and memories of local young men. 4. What was special feature about the Black Ridge? The Black Ridge had several distinctive features that set it apart and made it a significant location for hunters like Cruz and Joe. One of the most notable features of Black Ridge was the thick growth of pine trees. These trees provided ample cover and habitat for deer, making it an attractive hunting ground. The density of the trees also made it a challenging terrain for hunters to navigate. Part of Black Ridge was fenced in by the Los Alamos National Laboratory. This fencing created a unique boundary, deterring many hunters from venturing near it. The presence of the laboratory and the fence added an element of mystery and intrigue to the area. Due to its rugged and difficult-to-access terrain, Black Ridge saw fewer human visitors compared to more easily accessible hunting grounds. This relative isolation made it an appealing location for hunters seeking a quieter and less crowded hunting experience. There were rumors circulating among the hunters that the fence surrounding part of Black Ridge might be electrified or equipped with sensors. This added an aura of danger and excitement to the area, as hunters like Cruz believed they were venturing into a potentially hazardous zone. The combination of dense pine tree growth, proximity to the laboratory, limited human activity, and rumors of advanced security measures made Black Ridge a unique and intriguing hunting location for Cruz and Joe. It presented both a challenge and an opportunity for hunters looking to test their skills and potentially bag a prized buck. 5. Describe Cruz's dream. Cruz's dream was a vivid and somewhat unsettling experience that held symbolic and prophetic elements. In the dream, Cruz found himself in a surreal landscape, likely representing a liminal space between the conscious and subconscious realms. The focal point of the dream was Cruz's encounter with a stone fetish, a small figurine carved in the shape of a black bear. This fetish held special significance for Cruz, embodying spiritual or magical powers. As Cruz interacted with the fetish, it took on a lifelike quality, standing upright and approaching him as if it were a sentient being. This anthropomorphic transformation of the bear fetish added an eerie and surreal dimension to the dream. However, what made the encounter particularly significant was the state of deformity exhibited by the bear. One paw was twisted, the other missing, and its legs were gnarled, resembling an old tree root. The bear's face was deformed, with a mouth dripping with saliva. This deformity, combined with its foreboding message for Cruz to leave the place, created an atmosphere of forewarning and unease. The dream served as a powerful omen, foreshadowing the strange and unsettling events that would unfold during Cruz's hunting expedition at Black Ridge. It hinted at the potential dangers and spiritual forces at play in the area, urging crews to approach with caution and respect for the natural and supernatural elements of the environment. 6. How did crews feel at the sight of the buck? Upon seeing the buck, crews experienced a mixture of emotions ranging from anticipation and excitement to a growing sense of unease and uncertainty. Initially, as crews laid eyes on the buck, there was a surge of excitement and anticipation. The sight of the dark antlers contrasting against the backdrop of the dense pine trees held the promise of a successful hunt. He recognized the potential of the buck to provide valuable venison for his family, which added to his initial exhilaration. However, this excitement was quickly tempered by a growing sense of unease. The buck's presence inside the fenced area near the Los Alamos laboratory added an element of danger and intrigue. Crews understood that capturing the buck would be a challenging task due to the thick vegetation, making a clear shot nearly impossible. This realization introduced an element of complexity and uncertainty to the situation. As crews cautiously approached, he observed the buck mirroring his movements, heightening his awareness of the animal's behavior. This unusual behavior, coupled with the dense forest and the buck's proximity to the laboratory's fenced area, began to create a sense of foreboding in crews. He started to question the wisdom of his decision to pursue the buck in such a potentially perilous location. Crews's emotions evolved from initial excitement and anticipation to a growing sense of unease and concern as he encountered the buck. The unique circumstances surrounding the hunt, including the buck's behavior and proximity to the laboratory, contributed to this shift in his emotional state. 7. How did crews kill the buck? Crews killed the buck after a series of calculated and determined actions. Despite the challenging circumstances, crews managed to overcome the obstacles and successfully bring down the deer. Initially, crews attempted to approach the buck cautiously, aware of the dense vegetation that obstructed his line of sight. However, the buck's behavior was unusual, as it seemed to mimic crews' movements, creating a sense of disorientation and unpredictability. Realizing that a clear shot was unlikely in the thick forest, Crews decided to maneuver and reposition himself for a better angle. He carefully navigated through the terrain, demonstrating both skill and determination in his pursuit of the buck. Finally, Crews found a vantage point that offered a clear line of sight to the deer. He raised his rifle, taking careful aim at the buck. In a moment of focused determination, Crews fired multiple shots, ensuring that they hit their target. The shot struck the buck, mortally wounding it. The deer fell to its knees, succumbing to its injuries. Crews's accuracy and precision in delivering the fatal shots demonstrated his proficiency as a hunter. Crews's successful kill of the buck was the culmination of his skill, persistence, and the strategic decisions he made in response to the challenging hunting conditions presented by the dense forest, and the buck's unusual behavior. 8. Why do you think the lab was established beside a jungle? The decision to establish the laboratory beside a dense forest, or jungle as it's described in the text, likely involves several strategic and practical considerations. The dense forest provides a natural barrier and buffer zone around the laboratory. This can help limit access to the facility, providing an additional layer of security beyond artificial fencing or security measures. The forest acts as a physical obstacle that deters unauthorized entry. The forest can help conceal the laboratory from prying eyes, especially if the facility is conducting sensitive or classified research. The natural cover of the trees and vegetation can make it more challenging for outsiders to observe or monitor activities within the laboratory. Depending on the nature of the laboratory's work, the forest may offer a valuable environment for certain types of research or experiments. For example, studies related to ecology, wildlife behavior, or environmental impact assessments may benefit from being located adjacent to a natural habitat. The forest may provide access to specific natural resources or elements relevant to the laboratory's research. This could include plant or animal specimens, geological features, or other elements crucial to the work conducted within the facility. Proximity to a diverse natural environment can foster scientific collaboration and partnerships with experts in fields like biology, ecology, and environmental science. This collaborative potential may have factored into the decision to establish the laboratory near the forest. The decision to establish the laboratory near a dense forest likely reflects a combination of security, research synergy, access to resources, and potential for scientific collaboration in a natural setting. 9. Why was Cruz not happy after killing the buck? Cruz's initial excitement and anticipation for a successful hunt were overshadowed by a growing sense of unease and sorrow after killing the buck. Several factors contributed to his feelings of discontent and regret. Upon closer inspection, Cruz discovered that the buck was severely deformed. Its appearance was unsettling, with twisted limbs, torn hide, and blind eyes. This revelation struck Cruz deeply, as he realized that the buck was not a healthy, normal animal. This deformity likely elicited sympathy and a sense of sorrow for the suffering of the animal. The buck's condition indicated that it was likely suffering and in pain before Cruz delivered the fatal shots. The sight of the buck in distress may have evoked feelings of empathy and remorse in Cruz, causing him to question the ethics of his actions. Given the dream Cruz had earlier, in which a deformed bear warned him to leave, he may have interpreted the deformed buck as a spiritual or symbolic message. This could have added a layer of significance and unease to the hunting experience. Cruz's proximity to the Los Alamos laboratory, and the rumors of its potentially harmful effects on the environment and wildlife likely weighed on his conscience. He may have questioned whether the laboratory's activities had contributed to the buck's deformity. Cruz's feelings of discontent after killing the buck stem from a combination of the buck's deformity, his empathy for the suffering animal, the potential spiritual significance, and his concerns about the laboratory's influence on the environment. These factors together created a complex emotional response for Cruz, ultimately leaving him with a sense of unease and regret. 10. How did Cruz's neighbors react when he arrived home with the dead deer? When Cruz arrived home with the dead deer, his neighbors reacted with a mix of shock, concern, and curiosity. They were taken aback by the sight of Cruz with the deformed buck, as it was an unusual and unsettling sight. The presence of such a unique and deformed animal likely raised questions and stirred emotions among the villagers. Some neighbors may have approached Cruz to offer assistance or express their concern for him. They could have been worried about Cruz's well-being, knowing that hunting in the area near the Los Alamos laboratory carried potential risks. Others may have been curious about the circumstances surrounding the hunt and the buck's deformity, prompting them to inquire and discuss what had happened. The arrival of Cruz with the deformed deer likely sparked a mix of reactions within the community. While some neighbors may have been empathetic and eager to help, others may have been intrigued and concerned about the unusual nature of the situation. The event likely became a topic of conversation among the villagers, further emphasizing the significance of Cruz's hunt and the impact it had on the community. C. Long questions. 1. What are the evidences in the story that indicate that the community of Cruz descended from the hunting ancestors? The story provides several pieces of evidence that indicate the community of Cruz descended from hunting ancestors. Emphasis on deer hunting. The entire community is eagerly awaiting the start of deer season. This tradition is deeply ingrained in their culture and demonstrates a historical reliance on hunting for sustenance. Sharing hunting stories. The men in the community, both young and old, gather to share hunting stories. This practice suggests that hunting has been a central aspect of their cultural heritage, passed down through generations. Knowledge of deer behavior. The community members, particularly the men, demonstrate a keen understanding of deer behavior. They know where to find the deer, recognize signs of their presence, and plan their hunting strategies accordingly. This knowledge is likely a result of their ancestors' expertise in hunting. Skill in rifle use. The men in the community are described as polishing their rifles and preparing for the hunt. This indicates a level of proficiency with firearms, a skill likely honed over generations of hunting. Reference to ancestral hunts. The old men in the community recount stories of hunts long ago, suggesting that hunting has been a significant activity for their forebears. These stories likely serve as a way to pass down hunting knowledge and traditions. Widespread participation. The fact that both young and old men in the community are involved in hunting indicates that it is a tradition that transcends generations. This suggests a long history of hunting within the community. Desire for venison. The women in the community express their anticipation for venison to sustain them through the winter. This reliance on deer meat as a staple food item further underscores the historical importance of hunting. Overall, the collective excitement for deer season, the sharing of hunting stories, the community's intimate knowledge of deer behavior, and the passing down of hunting traditions from one generation to the next all serve as strong indicators that Cruz's community has a deep-rooted history of hunting, suggesting that they are descended from hunting ancestors. 2. How does the story talk about tribal culture? The story subtly weaves in elements of tribal culture through various aspects of the narrative. Cultural practices and traditions. The story introduces readers to the cultural practices and traditions of Cruz's community. The anticipation and preparation for deer season serve as a prime example. This annual event is a significant tradition for the community, reflecting their deep connection to nature and hunting. Interconnectedness with nature, the description of the changing seasons, the aspen leaves falling like golden coins, and the quiet movement of deer through the meadows highlight the community's close relationship with the natural world. This deep connection to nature is a common feature of many tribal cultures. Spirituality and dreams. Cruz's dream, in which he encounters a deformed bear, introduces a spiritual element. In tribal cultures, dreams often hold special significance and can be seen as messages or omens. The dream and Cruz's subsequent encounter with the deformed buck carry a spiritual weight, underscoring the importance of the supernatural in their world view. Respect for wildlife. The story portrays a reverence for wildlife, particularly deer. The community relies on hunting for sustenance, but there is also an underlying respect for the animals they hunt. This respect is evident in Cruz's initial reluctance to touch the deformed buck and his eventual decision to bring it back to the pueblo for the old men to see. Community bonds. The communal aspect of hunting and storytelling is a reflection of the tight-knit nature of tribal communities. The men gather to share their hunting experiences, creating a sense of camaraderie and mutual support. The women play a role in this communal spirit by teasing the men about bringing back a prized buck. Oral tradition and storytelling, the recounting of old hunting stories, passed down through generations, is a hallmark of tribal cultures. These stories serve multiple purposes, including the transmission of hunting knowledge, the preservation of cultural heritage, and the reinforcement of community identity. Rituals and ceremonies. While not explicitly mentioned in the story, it is likely that Cruz's community has specific rituals or ceremonies associated with hunting, especially given the spiritual and cultural significance placed on the event. Overall, the story subtly incorporates elements of tribal culture through its portrayal of customs, spirituality, respect for nature, communal bonds, oral tradition, and potentially unspoken rituals or ceremonies. These elements collectively contribute to a rich depiction of a community deeply rooted in its tribal heritage. 3. What is the symbolical meaning of Cruz's dream? Cruz's dream holds symbolic meaning that is reflective of deeper themes and messages within the story. The deformed bear. The appearance of the deformed bear in Cruz's dream serves as a powerful symbol. Bears are often associated with strength, courage, and protection in various cultures. The deformity of the bear, with its twisted limbs and gnarled features, can be interpreted as a representation of something being fundamentally wrong or distorted. This could symbolize a disruption or imbalance in Cruz's world or environment. The bear's warning. The bear's warning for Cruz to leave the area carries significant symbolism. It can be seen as a caution against venturing into forbidden or dangerous territory. This warning may extend beyond the physical realm and serve as a metaphor for larger, unseen forces at play. It suggests that Cruz is treading into a realm where he may encounter something unsettling or potentially harmful. The bear walking upright. The fact that the bear in the dream stands upright like a man adds an extra layer of symbolism. It blurs the boundaries between human and animal, suggesting a connection or bridge between the two realms. This could symbolize the interconnectedness of all living beings, and the idea that nature holds wisdom and messages for those who are open to receiving them. The bear's silence. Despite appearing to approach Cruz with the intention of speaking, the bear remains silent. This silence could symbolize a communication barrier or a message that is meant to be understood on a deeper, intuitive level rather than through explicit words. It invites Cruz to tap into his instincts and intuition to interpret the bear's message. The deformity of the bear. The deformity of the bear's features, particularly its twisted limbs, can be interpreted as a representation of the unnatural or disrupted state of the environment. It may symbolize the impact of human activities, potentially linked to the presence of the nearby Los Alamos laboratory. Cruz's dream with the deformed bear carries symbolic meaning that points to themes of warning, interconnectedness with nature, the blurring of boundaries, and the potential disruptions or imbalances in the environment. It serves as a powerful metaphor for the larger forces at play in Cruz's world, encouraging him to approach his surroundings with heightened awareness and respect. 4. Discuss Devil Deer as an environmental story. Devil Deer can be interpreted as an environmental story due to its underlying themes that highlight the relationship between human activities and the natural world. Impact of human presence. The story revolves around Cruz's hunting expedition near the Los Alamos National Laboratory, a site associated with scientific and potentially hazardous activities. The presence of the laboratory signifies human intervention in the natural environment. This setting serves as a backdrop to the narrative, subtly suggesting that human activities can have far-reaching consequences on the surrounding ecosystem. Deformed deer as a symbol. The deformed buck that Cruz encounters can be seen as a symbol of environmental degradation. The deformities, torn hide, and bleeding wounds may be indicative of the harmful effects of the laboratory's activities on the wildlife in the area. It serves as a visual representation of the impact of human intervention on the natural world, highlighting the potential harm inflicted on the ecosystem. Spiritual warning and environmental awareness. Cruz's dream, in which a deformed bear warns him to leave the area, carries a deeper message about the environment. The bear's appearance and message can be interpreted as a spiritual or intuitive warning about the potential dangers of venturing into a space affected by human activities. This can be viewed as a metaphor for the need to be aware of the potential environmental hazards associated with certain areas. Sense of disquiet and unease. Throughout the story, there is a palpable sense of disquiet and unease surrounding Cruz's hunting expedition. This unease is not only related to the potential danger of hunting, but also to the broader environmental implications of his actions. The unnatural state of the deformed deer and the strange occurrences in the forest contribute to this sense of foreboding, suggesting that there is something inherently wrong or disturbed in the environment. Devil Deer can be interpreted as an environmental story that prompts readers to reflect on the impact of human activities on the natural world. It uses symbols, settings, and themes to underscore the potential consequences of human intervention in the environment and encourages a greater awareness of our relationship with the natural world. 5. Sketch Cruz's character. Cruz, the protagonist of Devil Deer, is a complex character whose traits and actions reveal a depth of personality and a strong connection to his cultural and natural surroundings. Determined and independent, Cruz demonstrates a strong sense of determination and independence. He disregards his friend Joe's advice to hunt in a different area after Joe breaks his leg. This decision showcases Cruz's self-reliance and his belief in his own hunting abilities. He is not easily swayed by others and follows his instincts. Provider and family-oriented. Cruz's primary motivation for hunting is to provide for his family. He envisions bringing back venison steaks to sustain them through the winter. This shows his deep sense of responsibility and love for his family. It also reflects his understanding of his role as a provider within his community. Spiritual sensitivity. Cruz's dream, in which he encounters a deformed bear, reveals his spiritual sensitivity. He engages in a dialogue with the bear, demonstrating an openness to receiving messages from the natural world. This spiritual connection is further emphasized when the bear warns him to leave the area, indicating Cruz's receptivity to the deeper, unseen forces at play in his environment. Courageous and persistent. Cruz's decision to enter the fenced area near the Los Alamos laboratory, despite potential dangers and warnings, highlights his courage and persistence. He is not easily deterred by obstacles or risks. This determination is further exemplified when he chooses to bring the deformed buck back to the pueblo, despite its unsettling appearance. Respectful of nature, Cruz demonstrates a deep respect for nature and the animals he hunts. Initially, he hesitates to touch the deformed buck, showing a reverence for the life he has taken. This respect is in line with the cultural values of his community, which relies on hunting for sustenance while maintaining a sense of gratitude and respect for the animals. Vulnerable and reflective, the story also reveals Cruz's vulnerability and capacity for reflection. He experiences moments of unease, especially when faced with the deformed buck. This vulnerability adds depth to his character and humanizes him, showing that he grapples with complex emotions and uncertainties. Cruz emerges as a multidimensional character with qualities of determination, independence, family-centeredness, spiritual sensitivity, courage, and respect for nature. His actions and reactions throughout the story offer insights into his cultural identity and his deep connection to the natural world. Best of luck.